Galen, what's your favorite Super Mario power-up?
Honestly, probably has to be the cape from Super Mario World.
Oh, is it because you like to fly around? You wish you could be not around the people, but among the stars in the sky?
Exactly. Plus, I like looking like a superhero, so that's always a plus.
Well, you're never gonna be a star.
Aww. But they have a star. You could totally be a star.
No, you chose the cape, and you'll never be a star.
What is this voice that you're doing?
It's the 50s. No, it's the 20s.
I was about to say, it's like girl. Bad 1920s like reporter.
This is my voice. The Mushroom Kingdom will chew you up and spit you out, kid.
King Koopa's gonna go ahead and put you down by the fishes. See, those cheap cheeps. You're gonna be swimming with the cheap cheeps over there.
Okay, I mean, that joke didn't come out right, but you worked it. You worked it out.
Yeah,
we all just saw it and heard
it's
it.
It's the 1920s. Nobody counts. Nobody listens to this newfangled radio thing. Remember, you can now see us on Stitcher.
Hello, my booze and dry bones. Friends, thank you for joining us today on the Nintendo Everything Podcast, episode 99. That's the max level in some video games.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Some can't go that extra distance to get it all the way up to 100.
Just shut up! I am the gay nightmare, Oni Dino. And with me...
That's a terrible nightmare.
I have, or a great nightmare, I have an undead embarrassment, a big Poe who cackles on command. It's Galen.
I don't remember what a Poe actually sounds like.
What? No, they have like a high pitched cackle.
I don't know.
Wait, that's Boo.
Yeah.
Well, fake gamer confirmed. Friends, this is the first week of our 4-week long, is it 4 weeks? Who knows? October spooktacular. I just love Halloween, and it's been Halloween in my mind for a couple of months at least. Yeah. And it's going to be Halloween for the rest of the months because the world is a nightmare. And also video games and gamers in general just terrifying, you know?
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us for the Nintendo Everything Spookcast.
Please, listen, Galen, I want you to just say that came to you, and that's why it was so bad, but I have a feeling that you've been thinking about it.
No, it did come to me. It just came to me.
It just came to you 2 days ago, and you're like, that's really good, I'm going to use it.
No, it snuck up on me in the dead of night.
That was better. See?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So nice. Friends, we're a weekly show. Episodes every week, blah, blah, blah. We're on pretty much all the podcast platforms, blah, blah, blah. Please take a moment, give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, share us with a friend. It is the best way to support our show, help our show grow, help us do more giveaways.
Yeah, we haven't done one of those in a while.
Maybe we'll do one soon, depending on your support.
Do we have any spooky games we can give away?
Surely.
Yeah. We'll give away Resident Evil 6.
Oh, God. Please, I will give that away. I'll pay you to take that from me. Ugh.
Now, the spookiest thing is if you're the winner, you now have to play Resident Evil 6.
The winner of what? Oh. Okay, Galen. No, you don't, Oprah. There's a lot of video games happened. Let's go to the adventure log.
Yeah.
Galen, where can people find you creeping on the internet?
They can see me haunting the internet at Mobius087 on Twitter. Oni, where can they find your scariest tweets?
I raise the dead on my Twitter at Oni_Dino. I also raise the dead on my turntable over on Get Vocal. That's every Friday. Galen's very puzzled right now, and I'm sure everybody else is.
I'm just imagining you behind a turntable.
Hey!
Waka waka wow.
Yeah. Frickin'. I got 2 turntables and a microphone. Anyway, that's on Get Vocal. I got another podcast on Get Vocal. It's really hardly a podcast. It's less of a podcast than this one is. It's really just an excuse for everybody to come and chill out. It is an interactive podcast. It's a live one. So come on over to Get Vocal. That's every Friday. You can also just see the links on my Twitter. That says exactly what time it's at. It's Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So you can do your conversions to your time zone or check out my Twitter because it's got time zones written there. And that's a bunch of fun, having a lot of funny and also heartfelt conversations. The kinds of things we can't talk about here on the Nintendo Everythwa Pahwa. Just trying out some words, Galen.
How's that working for you?
Terribly. Sometimes you just need to put words into the universe and clarify them later.
Yeah. That's been my motto. Is it later yet?
I'm also writing out words on Silicon Era. I'm a writer and translator over there, so come on over and read my articles.
Very cool.
Until then, though, there are video games to be played, and we have played them. Some of them, eventually, we'll stop playing video games. We'll be done with them all as they plague our minds. Galen, tell me about Animal Crossing, a plague preparation.
Well, I have been escaping into the reality that is safe and welcoming over in Animal Crossing lately. The new update recently came out, and, again, they've added some new things. There are pumpkins to go ahead and grow. There's candy to go ahead and be purchased. It's very exciting, and I feel like I say this like every couple of months or so, but it consistently leaves me excited and impressed that this game is able to remain as fresh as it is, even though this game, this is a couple months old now at this point.
It's as fresh as a newly grown gourd.
Exactly. And I'm still playing it pretty consistently. So I did learn some things from the basis outline that they did with announcing the update.
Oh my god.
Pumpkins do take a little while to grow, and it does look like there are multiple different colored pumpkins for whatever recipes. So it's also random which ones you're getting. So good luck on that literal farming you're going to need to be doing.
Sow them seeds.
Beforehand, they introduced candy that is available in the shop, but they are limiting it to one per customer. So you really want to make sure you are consistently going on every day and just picking up your candy from the store. Also, you can go ahead and get more than one piece of candy a day if you go over to a friend's island. So the game does encourage that social interaction of continuing to visit other people. And again, I love it. I absolutely love how involved this game is and how much it pushes to try to get people involved in the community.
And Galen, what do people like yourself do when they have no friends?
Cry a lot and just wish that you had better villagers living on your island.
A river, some may cry.
Exactly. You get way too attached to some of them. But actually, it's reinvigorated me checking on those residents, because something that's been in the game for a while is that you'll occasionally come across somebody who is crafting something inside their home. And if you talk to them, they'll be able to give you a recipe. That recipe is build a dresser, build a bed, make a fun windmill type thing. It varies. With this newest update, though, there are a slew of new recipes that are all spooky. So you have a spooky lantern or a spooky table. And
spooky curry.
I haven't found that one yet, but I would not be surprised. But again, it's gotten me into this consistent habit of I need to go check who is crafting, because there's probably a good chance they'll have something that I don't know how to make, and they'll be able to teach me that. And again, this kind of encourages the whole going to other people's islands too, because somebody on somebody else's islands might have something completely different from what you have. So it's funny how such a simple update has completely revitalized this entire game for me. I'm currently just wanting to redo my whole island because like I want to reset up a farming area so that I can consistently grow all the pumpkins that I have there, which hasn't been a need in the game in the past. So
yeah.
and then with all the new decorations like spooky scarecrows with the jack-o'-lantern heads that have glowing eyes, that is really cool, and I really want to set those up. So
Are those like new to the series?
they're new to this particular game that I've found.
Okay.
So I'm sure they've been in the, games in the past, but this is really the first Animal Crossing that I've really dived into. So it's hard to tell what exactly is new and what isn't.
Oh, I
So.
swore you were into New Leaf, no?
I was, that's the one for the 3DS, I want to say.
Yeah.
I got into it a little bit. My wife was way more invested into the game than I was.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm remembering.
Yeah, no. My wife was way into that game. So.
Well, Galen, that all sounds so nice. Like, this is probably one of their biggest updates of the year, wouldn't you say? Like, because of such a big, like, decorative season, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that a lot of people have been really excited for Halloween to be coming along. Like, even when my wife and I and our friends were first playing this game, we were still talking about like, oh my god, this is going to be so exciting come Halloween, and I can't wait to get all these costumes in the shop and be able to dress up my villagers in certain ways. Like, even I'm starting to notice that there are more things that are being sold in the shop with this update, and it's super exciting. From a mechanical standpoint, I really want to see them elaborate on the whole farming aspect, because I love that idea of growing the materials that you're going to be needing for crafting. I would really like to see them elaborate that on with Thanksgiving coming up, because I think with some of the leaks, we were seeing more varieties of food that you're going to need to be growing, and I'm hoping that we see something similar along that.
I wonder what it's like in the southern hemispheres when they have these kinds of seasons. You know what I mean? Because,
Yeah.
I mean, Halloween is so associated with fall. So, like, have the leaves changed in the game?
Not yet, but I expect them to soon.
Okay.
With that being said, some of those like seasonal things have still been coming along, but these like big events, I believe, are still, they're rolling it out in like waves. And actually, it's funny that you were talking about the update. One of the other bigger updates that I can remember was back in, I think, June, July, when they introduced swimming into the game.
Oh,
and being
right.
able, that completely changed, literally, the game with being able to navigate around your island, new things to be able to collect, new, like, a bunch of new stuff with a simple edition. So, yeah. My big question is, they have been so consistent rolling all these things out. Is the game still going to be able to catch my attention as much as it does come, what was it, March was when the game came out, I want to say originally? Yeah. Come March of 2021, if we're still alive, because, the spookiest year, am I still going to be playing this game? Is Nintendo still going to be able to find a way to keep this franchise as fresh and inviting and just engaging as it is?
I think that they will, considering how well it sold. Like, it just sold so much that I think that they'll be pouring even more resources than they first intended to. With more updates and stuff. And even if it doesn't, at least for the people that like bought it from March of 2020 till at least the end of this year with Christmas and stuff happening in the game, it's still gonna be what an amazing value for your money.
Exactly. And I really hope so, because I mean, here Animal Crossing blew up in a way that absolutely nobody was expecting. Everybody knew this was going to be a big game, but not to the extent. And let's be real here, there were a lot of outside circumstances that kind of led to that sort of a thing.
Sure.
But you make up a very good point with people who are coming into the series late and kind of riding on those coattails of what is this game that everybody is talking about, who started in June, who started in July, and didn't experience like the travesty that was Bunny Day. Like, I really do hope that they do continue this support after that first year, but with how seasonal they've been making everything, I question as to what more they could actually add beyond introducing more characters and more aspects to the game.
Yeah.
I would love to see more shops in there, which is something that I think they could do and roll out consistently.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like, it's going to be hard to say.
It's just so cool to hear like such a success story from, a franchise like this that is, I don't know, it's not like a hardcore gamer kind of thing. It's casual, but it's also such a friendly thing and a wholesome thing.
Yeah.
And just hearing great success about that is always just so pleasant.
I really consider Animal Crossing as one of those hardcore casual games. If you are wanting a more relaxed environment, you're wanting something simple to kind of get your feet wet in, or just something to relax with, this is going to be the game for you. But you
Plus, there's no Animal Crossing. Plus, there's no microtransactions in it, which is fantastic because this is a series where it's just like microtransaction. What's it called? Like templates fit perfectly into
there's
this kind
not
of
even
stuff.
like a DLC or anything like that. And
Yeah,
let's be completely frank, having the ability to bring in like additional islands to be able to travel to, additional people who would be able to set up shops, like, I could very easily see this game, if they wanted to, bring out those corner elements. Yeah, it would definitely taint the experience of the game a bit, but it would sell. People would buy into it. So much taint?
Yeah. I'm AEN no 6 years old. Sorry.
But I think it has a lot to say that Nintendo has kept this game on its pure morals with not adding those things that would, I mean, quite frankly, kind of ruin the experience of the game as far as a consumer developer relationship.
Yeah, like very briefly, I'll just mention this, but like, have you heard about Genshin Impact? It's a video game that came out recently for PS4 and PC. Then there's going to be a Switch version. I think it's on Android as well.
I can't say that I have, no.
If you saw it, you might have seen screenshots before because it's very, very artistically inspired by Breath of the Wild.
Okay.
And it's been getting like good reviews. Like the game seems to be solid, and it's like kind of an action RPG, and it's, beautiful and full of exploration and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it totally looks like my kind of game, except that it is a free-to-play game. So like that just means that
there's the rub.
Yeah, like it's not even just like on a principle level I don't want to play games like that, but it's also that the balancing, the game flow, all of that is going to be ruined. If it's not even ruined in the upfront, it's going to be ruined later somewhere down the line when you invest your player into it, and it's insidious. Like it is on a foundational level insidious that it just ruins the game, and I don't even want to play it, Yeah. And it's just a shame. So I'm always so happy to hear about big success stories like Animal Crossing New Horizons, just making tons of money without microtransaction.
The success of video games as a whole in our world is kind of
ruining
its own
the world.
undoing.
Yes, video games are a blight upon this planet.
No, it's kind of its own undoing because people now have the expectation of, hey, we're going to put more money into this game to make it more spectacular, but we expect a bigger return in our investment.
Well, that's the BS that they feed consumers. You know what I mean? It is. I mean, this is another topic for another time, but yeah.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, in that sort of a world with that sort of an expectation, with how things are right now, I'm really happy to see that companies like Nintendo are still, like, even with their really popular franchises and their surprise successes, they're willing to step back on that capitalization of it.
Yeah. And they're still making a ton of money, and they treat their employees well and pay them well, from everything we've heard. And, I'm not trying to be a Nintendo shill here, but it's just when you hear a company being good to their employees, that's always so nice, as opposed to like the CEOs of a bunch of different, huge game companies, either treating their employees like crap, being sexual predators, crunch, firing people even though their net profit is up tremendous, or gross profit is net is up super crazy. Like, it's just It's good. I'm glad that there is a company like Nintendo. You know, we have plenty of criticisms
Exactly.
about them, but in terms of like being responsible, they're great.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
So the little animals in the video game and the Halloween update.
Yeah, I will definitely be talking about this game more, especially when we get closer to the actual Halloween date. But
Cool.
yeah, it's still just good old wholesome fun.
Nice. As for me, I've been playing a game. Actually, I've been playing it for a while, just kind of on and off, and I've wanted to talk about it, but I kind of wanted to form my thoughts on it. The video game I have been playing is called Le Sinking City. It's not, why did I say Le? The Sinking City.
Le Sinking CD.
Le Sinking City.
Do we have any French listeners? How many people do we just
We
feel like
definitely
offend?
do. France is actually, and I mean, there's French speakers in many more countries than France, but France is actually a big listener hub for us. So, bonjour. The Sinking City is a third-person kind of action mystery game.
Mm-hmm.
You play as a detective, and you're having visions. It is heavily inspired by works of H.P. Lovecraft.
Mm-hmm.
You're having these haunting visions, and they're really cool visuals. Like you're on a ship, and you wake up and you hear something's calling you. You step outside of the ship onto the bow or the bridge or whatever, and you look out, and everything is swimming around you. Like you're underwater, but you're still affected by gravity. And there's this enormous like squid thing in the sky. This is in the opening cutscene.
Yeah.
And it's just really cool. But anyway, having these visions.
Very eldritch horror, like very Cthulhu / Lovecraftian.
Yeah, all that junk.
Okay.
You go into this city. I want to say it's Boston, but it might just be like a made-up city. It's basically just very New England city, early, I don't know, maybe like the 20s or something. I think this was kind of before the widespread of electricity.
Okay.
You're going there to investigate these visions you've been having, but the city is also semi-underwater, hence the sinking city, and the source of the visions seems to be coming from the city. The townsfolk there are also getting the visions, but it's become such a regular thing for them that they don't care. They're more concerned about the city. Mm-hmm. And it is bizarre and wonderful. I'm playing this on Switch. It's made by a developer, I think they're Ukrainian, I can't remember, a developer called Frogwares. Mm-hmm. They have made Sherlock games before, so this game also has that Sherlock element to it where you're investigating.
Yeah, I remember there being a little bit of controversy with them in regards to their publisher.
Yeah, I think that their publisher and their distributor for some of their games really screwed them over.
Yeah.
And for this game as well. And I was happy to see that it appears to be on the Switch at least, that the digital version is distributed by them. So I was happy to purchase this game on Switch when it went on sale several weeks ago.
Good.
So hopefully my money is going primarily to them, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was a really, really nice sale. The game, I think, is like $50 typically. Then there's a little bit of DLC you can buy. By the way, you don't need that DLC. It's nice. It's you know, chunky side quest, but it's not necessary at all in case, you know, people are wondering about that.
Get some chunky quests in.
Yeah, you get some chunks. This game is also just coincidentally on sale in the US eShop right now, at least. So you know, do check it out. I think it's $20 for just the base game, which is a good price for this game. I'm gonna go into it a little bit more about like what to expect though.
Okay.
So let's see. I talked about going to New England and underwater. The townspeople, okay? They, because of the visions and because of just what's going on, they're like kind of going on with their daily activities. You see people walk around in business suits and stuff like that. But like shit is fucked in the town. Like things are underwater. There are these rats, but they're not rats. They're like half rats, half prawns walking around because just the sea themes are very deep into what's going on
all over
in the
the
game.
place. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also a couple of cults forming too. There's like cult members that are humans. There's also people that have interbred with fish or some sort of fish entity. They are terrifying looking.
Okay.
There's also kind of gorilla / human people as well. It's very interesting. Now, you just arrive and it feels like you're in kind of like episode 2 of a TV show. It just kind of feels like there was some information you didn't get ahead of time.
Okay.
It feels a little clunky out the gate because even with the gameplay mechanics, they don't introduce it to you super well. However, once I really got in there and I tried a bunch of stuff out, I was feeling really comfortable with the gameplay mechanics. So there is a logic to them. It's just not shown to you very well.
Okay.
So being a investigation game, there is like combat and stuff, but it's kind of not the focus. The focus is a lot of the dialogue and a lot of interacting with townspeople, going and picking up clues and then deducing from those clues what's going on. And even if you collect all of the clues in a quest, in a mainline quest, there isn't just one answer. It's kind of how you interpret those clues, and it's like literally put together like on a pinboard kind of thing.
Okay.
And you can be like, okay, because of all of this stuff, obviously she did this because she's a murderer. Or you could say, because of all the clues that I still have in front of me, obviously she was under control from somebody else or whatever. Like, I don't know.
This is sounding a little bit more LA Noire than it is Deadly Premonition, so...
Those are two really good comparisons because there are bits of both of those. It feels kind of like Deadly Premonition.
Okay.
Now...
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way. In a good way.
Okay.
Similar to Deadly Premonition, like the combat is not great. It's serviceable. I'd say it's better than the first Deadly Premonition game, but again, it's not the focus. I would recommend to people to turn the difficulty down on the combat. Yeah, and I'm never like that. I had it on normal. I always put everything on normal just to kind of see what is the standard experience that a game wants me to have. But I found myself having a lot more fun putting the difficulty down just a little bit. In the options, you can turn up the difficulty for your puzzles or your difficulty. They're two separate sliders.
Okay.
And as soon as I turned it down, like, it's still a little bit of a challenge, but I was having so much more fun. Getting into that, I guess, you fight these monsters that are really, really well designed. Really good monster designs.
Okay.
Like, the best since, the earlier Silent Hill games. There's like a person that's sort of sewn together and like it pulls its like chest apart and spits things at you. And then there is like a human that's like on its hind legs that was like sort of torn apart and like comes at you like doing a crab walk almost. Then there's these like almost spider style guys that are basically just a whole bunch of naked legs sewn together with like no torso. It's just a bunch of naked legs.
I'm noticing a theme that you definitely appreciate creepy ass monsters in games.
I
like,
do.
You're talking about this and I'm thinking of like Evil Within and other games like that. And
sure,
you just seem completely enamored by how f***ed up can we make this look?
Absolutely. I really like the psychosexual stuff as well. So I really enjoy body horror and things like that. It's just fascinating to me, dude.
You are the worst nightmare, so I guess that is
the gay nightmare. And so anyway, the monsters are really cool. I would recommend to people who are thinking about playing this to just kind of, as soon as you start playing, keep going with the story. Don't go out and explore and stuff like that because the map is huge. And I was like, oh my god. It definitely feels less big than it really is, though, because of the way that they set things up. Anyway, before I go into the map, I recommend people just keep going with the story. Just keep going where it wants you to go, at least for the first couple of chapters. And then you'll pick up side quests along the way, going to the places that the game wants you to go. So, like, it'll say, go to the hospital because you need to do whatever there. And at the hospital, you'll meet a doctor, and then he'll give you like 3 or 4 side quests. Then you can do those side quests. I mean, you can do them anytime. The game is very free and open world kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this is my highly recommended path for best enjoyment because you'll get familiar enough with the systems, whether it's fighting or whether it is the information tracking down clues kind of aspects. But when you go to like specifically the hospital with the side quest there, the guy will tell you, okay, go to this area of the map and investigate this. And then it's you kill a bunch of enemies, but it's specifically the type of enemy that it's introducing in the side quest.
Okay.
Each of those side quests introduces each of the enemy types in the game and why they look like this and how they kind of came about. And I think that's just like nice little creature building, world building kind of stuff. So it made me actually enjoy the monsters more after I had done that.
Okay. So,
go ahead.
Really quickly, you've been mentioning the combat a couple of times in here. What kind of combat are we expecting? Is it like a third-person over-the-shoulder shooter? Is it more like, I don't know, like action RPG-esque?
No.
What exactly are we expecting here?
It's a cross between something like Deadly Premonition, but a little bit better than that, and maybe just a tad bit of like Resident Evil 4 kind of stuff, but it's not so polished or anything like that. There are weak points to shoot, and you're just kind of over the shoulder and using a bunch of different weapons. You start out with a pistol and a revolver, and you can also like craft things. There's a crafting system, blah blah blah. You can make Molotovs and bombs, little traps to trap enemies in. I like it, but I can definitely understand people being like, there's jank here. The jank is definitely part of the charm with this game. This is a smaller budget game. It's not a AAA game. It's one of those that kind of tries to look like a AAA game, but it isn't in terms of gameplay and structure. And I love those kinds of games. Like, I don't want everything to be like a tiny indie or a big AAA 90-hour experience. Something like this is... These are the types of games that existed so much when games didn't cost as much to develop during like the PS2, PS1 kind of eras. So I'm so happy to see these kind of mid-tier games coming out. Yeah, because I can forgive a lot of like, visual quirks and weird jank when there's so much passion and charm in a project. And this game is full of passion and charm. It's not it's not tight in terms of controls and stuff like that. There's jank here, but it's really charmed me.
It feels good. It feels like you're having a fun time with the rules, and the game is inviting enough to the point where you can actually look past some of that jank and just kind of accept it for what it is.
Yeah, because you kind of see the jank and you're like, oh, that's funny, but you're playing a video game. But then you're like, oh man, that was some pretty good writing in that little log that I found. Like you'll find logs like in Resident Evil, and you'll read through your files. And there's a lot of reading and dialogue and listening in this game. Okay. And it's just, if you're into that, I really, really suggest people check this out. If you're into horror, it's $20 on the eShop right now. It is on other platforms, and it definitely looks better on other platforms. But I mean, the game has jank no matter where you're gonna play it at. So I think, God, there was a really weird thing happening because I went to YouTube before I bought the game just to be like, was there a patch? Because I heard that when it launched, it had some problems on all platforms. I heard about hard crashes on PS4 and stuff. So I just wanted to check, was there a patch for the Switch version? I went to YouTube, and there was a whole bunch of like, YouTubers making the YouTube face, what I like to call the D-sucking face. Yes, that's exactly it, Galen. Good job.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
Being
about.
like, worst game ever, and like that kind of stuff. This
like
is
holding their hands up to the face and just going like, Arr!
Yes.
Yeah.
This is not...
I kind of forgot we're on a podcast and not like have a visual aspect, so we should probably describe that a bit.
No, Galen, just take a picture of your face and put it on Twitter.
I'll do that.
Okay. I very much like this game. I very much enjoy its jank. I'm repeating myself, but it's charming. It's really charming. Yeah. There's so many little things to it. There's sanity effects, kind of like Eternal Darkness on the GameCube. So like you have to manage both your sanity and your health, and you have different health things for both of those meters. You have sanity effects like monsters will come at you in your mind, or monsters will actually appear, but they're shadows
Man, I'm actually really kind of getting into this.
You should look it up because I would love to hear you playing this. I know that you kind of like
Yeah.
these kinds of games too. Not as much as me, but you're a
Well,
fake gamer, so.
Never gets old.
No, it doesn't. It's wonderful. I love it. It's evergreen.
As the listeners who have listened to us frequently may know, I'm into some tabletop RPGs and things like that. And one of the very common settings for a lot of games is that, Lovecraftian Eldritch horror type setting. And a lot of what you are describing, especially some of the setting descriptions, are really triggering a lot of those things. So it's very easy for me to visualize like what you're talking about in the mood in the setting. Like I'm 100% getting that. And yeah, it's great.
In terms of like
Especially
the way
in
that
October.
yeah. In terms of the way that like the world map looks and like when you're traveling around the city, it's pretty great because God, there's so many things I didn't even talk about yet, but we have to move on soon. Sorry. The city is like kind of half underwater, right? So like certain areas you have to traverse by boat and you'll be kind of like going through a city. Think of like a city like Chicago or something, or I guess New England actually is what's more like. Think of going by that, but like half of it's underwater. So you're by like the third story of a building in your boat going around water. And it's really cool looking. Like even on Switch, it looks fine. It really does look fine on Switch. It looks better, of course, on PS4 and PC, but I'm having no problems. Like, you'll see muddy textures from time to time, and it's not playing at 1080. It's probably in 720 or whatever, but I am visually and performance-wise on the Switch, I'm having a good time with it.
Great.
Yeah. It just like you see all this weird stuff. You see people like NPCs walking around very nervously pacing and looking behind them, like, who's walking behind me. And like there's just little touches like that really add to how in the grasp of insanity this town is.
That is
I didn't even talk about the main
fantastic.
story. It's like it's a mystery, and you're trying to figure out what's going on with like eldritch horrors.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like, please do look into this a little bit more. I'll, if I have more to say about it, maybe I'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, I think I will. I hope you do, because I'm super into this right now.
And that's The Sinking City. And Galen, you have also been playing Super Mario 35.
Yes. Super Mario 35.
Oh, Super Mario 35. Came out there this week and had a launch trailer and everything with it. Let's scoot on into our news, and that's where you can talk about it there.
Sounds good.
So Super Mario 35 is the 35th Super Mario video game.
Yeah,
It is a battle royale.
You can call it that, yeah.
It is. It's basically a battle royale. It's an online-only game because you play against 34 other players, and you're playing through the original Super Mario Bros, and you're getting coins, and then you sort of get like a Mario Kart style power-up, random power-up kind of thing that you can use on your enemies.
Yeah, something like that.
And
So,
you fight to be the best, and
like
no one ever was. So Galen, tell me about how you are number 35 in
I
1 out of
am
35.
about number 17, if we're being completely honest.
Yeah, that's about where I'd put you.
Yeah, this game is a fantastic tribute to the Super Mario franchise, and I think it was very well executed. I do kind of understand why they do have a limit of, hey, we're not doing this after March or whatever, because I don't imagine there being a whole lot of support for the game unless they want to go for some of the other, like, Super Mario 3 or Super Mario World kind of settings.
Well, but think about, like, Tetris 99. People be playing that. And Mario...
It's very different, though, and I'll get into
No.
that.
I'm just talking about the appeal in terms of, like, support for it later.
Yeah. First off, we have a better understanding of the rules of this. So basically, you are, as you said, you're running through the original Super Mario game. As you play the game, after you complete a particular level, you go into another random world. This could be, World 1-1 to World 1-2, Or it could be like 1-1 to like 2-1, for example. So it's not always like chronologically how it is in the game.
Nice.
You can also, as you play through these different levels, as you beat them, you unlock them, which allows you to start in particular levels a little bit sooner, or have it's like dictate your path a little bit more to like, hey, this is the RNG that you kind of want to start with. So I find that in this game, time is more of my enemy more than anything else. So what you really want to do is there is the time that you have left, and there is also the enemies that are currently on screen. Both are decent threats.
Let's be honest though, Galen, time isn't your enemy. You are your own enemy.
I am my own greatest enemy.
Yes,
Dun,
I
dun, dun,
am
dun, dun.
my own grandpa.
So as you go ahead and defeat the enemies that are on your screen, you will get more time. So there is a benefit of going out of your way as opposed to just trying to avoid everything. The game also does reward you for combos. So if you step on a basic Goomba, it'll go ahead and give you +1 second. But if you jump from that to another Goomba, that'll give you 2 seconds on that other Goomba hit. And it goes up from there. So if you have like a Koopa Troopa, you get the Koopa shell, you throw it and knock down a bunch of guys, like the score can get up pretty high. So, and it's weird because as you defeat these enemies, it sends those same enemies to somebody else's screen.
Oh, yeah.
So it's weird. It's like you're giving yourself time, but you're also giving more of a threat and time to the other person. So the overall game becomes more of a thing of who has more skill to deal with what is being thrown at you as opposed to who can get through the levels the fastest.
Right. And the answer? Not you.
Exactly. It's this really weird balance that you have to kind of strive of going on this risk reward because you need to kill enemies. You need to get that time because that is the overall thing. You cannot win unless you get more time than everyone else. Mm-hmm. But the coins are also there too. And the coins give you a roulette power up. I think it's like 20 coins that you can set up. And they give you fire flowers, they give you starmen, they give you POW blocks, which just wipe out all the enemies on the screen if something gets too much. But it's hard to plan for that because of that roulette nature of it. So I remind myself that I do need to go and get 20 coins, but I don't make it my overall goal. Also, it's really inconvenient when you do end up in a swimming level or an underwater level and you don't have a fire flower, because then you're really in trouble because you have to get through that as fast as possible because you can't kill them otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of strategy there, but it does the whole Tetris 99 thing of, mildly selecting who it is that you're trying to go up against.
I was talking yesterday to one of our lovely listeners, Mr. Roxas Sakuraba. He came over to get vocal and chatted with me there, and he's having a great time with the game. He was telling me that slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, most definitely. To be completely honest, I feel like the idea of having 34 other players on the screen is more of an afterthought than anything else. If this actually gave me a lot of nostalgic feelings of playing Super Mario Run when that came out for the first time.
Well, that's awful.
Well, and Super Mario Run was fun. It definitely had its issues. But it's just this idea of replicating the original Mario experience without it actually being a Mario, the Mario experience itself.
I really like that. That's the appeal for me, honestly.
Yeah, it's an interesting twist. Again, it's free. If you have Nintendo Online, I recommend giving it a try and giving your own opinions on it. But it's interesting. I don't know if it's catching my attention as much as Tetris did, because with Tetris, there was more of that pressure on the clock and more strategy behind it, where with this, it is more just a consistent test of your skill and your platforming abilities to see how long you can keep it going.
Nice.
Overall, I think this is a perfect free game. I really want to see Nintendo do this more often, because I think there's a lot that they can do with their IPs to really kind of introduce this format into other areas. I think I actually pitched this on the Nintendo Fuse podcast that I guested on, but I would love to see them do a version of this where it is classic, like Legend of Zelda, and you're just going through all the different dungeons, and every time you clear a dungeon, it adds an enemy to somebody else's dungeon that they have to try to go through. I think that would be really cool.
I think that's a great idea. Like, for me, this is just a me thing. I much prefer more co-op online games. Like, versus online games are fun from time to time. You know, I've played a lot of Splatoon, but they just, I don't know, they stress me out a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So, as fun as I do find them, I would prefer something more co-op. At least some sort of little twist, you know, on this kind of formula with more classic games. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
And of course, I think everybody feels this way. I hope that they don't actually remove it at the end of March, and I hope that they just at least sell it or something like that from there on. Like, early adopters have the game, but those who want to buy it can buy it, and we're going to put out a physical edition because lots of people will end up double dipping for a physical version, that kind of junk.
Yeah.
Just for those weirdos out there collecting stuff.
Those desperate weirdo collectors. I say, looking at my shelf of amiibo.
How embarrassing. And next, Galen, we had some details on Mario Kart Home Circuit that I didn't hear about, but you did?
Yeah, this trailer came out around the same time as the Mario 35 trailer. So
tell us about it, why don't you?
Yeah, so first off, just a reminder, Mario Kart Home Circuit is the RC car that you control with your Nintendo Switch. It is shaped like a Mario or a Luigi, and it's coming out on October 16th, so right around the corner.
Mario!
So we know for a fact that you are racing in traditional Mario Kart style in this game. The NPCs, when you are playing, are just the regular Koopalings, so you've got some people to play against if you are playing solo, but you can also be racing with up to 4 other players. So you can have 4 copies of the karts going around. They did showcase a little bit of what it would be like actually driving around. The controls seem very simple. A is to go fast. They also have your turning around, but they also have a drifting mechanic, which I think with what they were showing on the RC, it just tightens up the turning of it, so there's not that whole waggle boost that you can in the original game.
Yeah. You know what? I'll be honest. If there's not waggle boost, then I at least need to see the letters V and E fly off of my tires in smoke, just like in Mario 64 or Mario Kart 64.
There you go.
If not, bad game.
Terrible game. The car itself will be going at different speeds. So if you hit like a mushroom boost, your car will physically go faster from that. Mm-hmm. They also showcase that you will have the regular, CC races anywhere between 50 to 200, and the course that you choose will dictate the speed of your actual kart. So if you do a 200cc, that is as fast as your car is going to go when you're playing it. They recommend that go ahead and choose the course that you want to do depending on how much space you actually have to drive, which they recommend a 10 by 12 foot square space, which seems very condensed or very wide.
Yeah, the opposite of condensed.
Exactly. So they did showcase how you are setting up the courses, and that is with the 4 gates that you have there. As you drive through each one, it records the path as you are driving. So you can actually get some pretty complicated courses that you're going in there. They showcase one where you're literally driving in circles, and each circle that you do, it gets a little bit wider and wider, so it's like a spiral-esque pattern. They do another one where you're driving in the shape of a star, which I thought was a little oddly satanic for a Mario game, but hey, I'm not going to judge.
Oh, that's right. All starmen in Mario are Satan.
Exactly. Barbecue Satan.
What? Oh, Jesus, Galen. Galen's talking about the food, Satan.
Yeah. I thought that's the joke that you were making.
No! Talking about Satan, our Lord and Savior.
They also showcase that as you are driving on these courses, you can select different settings of the course in lieu of traditional like Mario Kart courses. Some of the ones they shouted out were Cheap Cheap Reef and Boo Fortress. World 1-1 seemed pretty fun, and I'd like to see an actual Mario Kart course kind of based on that. But they add different hazards and elements when you are playing the game into that. So it just spices things up a little bit and makes it a little bit more interesting when you are driving around.
It's cool. This sounds like it's more than just, set up your gates and drive your RC car and then it's a novelty and blah, blah, blah. It seems like there's actually some genuine gameplay to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I have to call out some of the innovations that they're putting in making this feel like a video game in the real world. So they showcase different items that you can go ahead and use in the game. So they've got the bananas, they've got the blue shells, mushrooms, things like that. But they also said that they have a bullet bill in there. Now, in the Mario Kart series, if you use a bullet bill, you just shoot forward at top speed, knocking off all the other drivers, but you stay on the course. And that is translated into this game as well. If you push this button, your car will drive on its own on the best path that it can.
All of this in concept sounds like the worst idea. I just don't know how they're really going to make it work, but I hope they do because it's going to be a great idea for kids.
No, absolutely. And speaking of kids, they also are talking about an assist mode. So if you are doing that, then the car will stay on the track or within the bounds of the track, no matter, how you're driving, which I think
Mario
is
Kart 8.
smart. Yeah. They also showcased a couple of costumes and carts and other unlockables. So there is a fair amount of unlockables and customization that you can do with your character. You're not always just Mario. You're not always just Luigi. You're, Chef Mario or things like that.
You sound like you want to get this.
I mean, let's be frank. If I had more spare income, I would definitely pick this up. I probably will not be picking one up myself just because of the physical limitations of I don't have the space to actually run it, which I feel is going to be a big problem for a lot of these. But I love this concept. And I love that with a lot of what Nintendo has been doing with this Mario 35, they've been calling back on their own history of being a toy maker before they were a video game maker.
Yeah, when are they going to open up the Super Mario 35 sex hotel?
That's Japan only. So, also, COVID, that probably put a couple of dents in things.
That's not the only stuff that they're putting in, you know what I'm saying?
Wow!
And next, this is some news that popped up right before the podcast. I wrote it on Siliconera. So there was a live stream for Live Alive. Live Alive is a JRPG from 1994.
Old school.
It is turn-based JRPG, and it is definitely ahead of its time. Very, very ambitious game. And there's 7, I think, characters. I think that there's even more unlockable after that. I forgot.
There's more unlockable later in. Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit because there were some Australian leaked rumors a little while ago.
Australian leaked rumors. Great job, Galen. So it's got multiple scenarios across multiple timelines, and it's just a very fascinating game. It has never seen a release outside of Japan. It has only been on the Super Famicom back in 94, and then in 2019 it saw a re-release on the new Nintendo 3DS Virtual Console.
Yeah.
They specifically responded at the very end of the 2-ish hour live stream to a question from a Western fan, and they said that the fan going by the username Android asked if we would see a release in the West or what was going on. And they responded and they said, thanks to all of everyone's support, we were able to, last year in 2019, hold a concert for the 25th anniversary. We're also doing the live stream right now to try and drum up some more knowledge and interest about the game. So with more continued support from fans, there'll surely be something that comes out in the future. And nobody was shocked or surprised. Everybody that was on the panel were key creators of the original game. Super badass, awesome dude that I've talked about before, Nobuyuki Inoue. He also created Mother 3. Legend of Mana, lots of other stuff. He was there. So was the game director, Yoko Shimomura, the lady who did the composing. She did all the music for that game. She also did Super Mario RPG. She did Kingdom Hearts. She was there being a total badass, drinking wine on stream. They were all there, not surprised by that guy's announcement. So like, I'm thinking like all signs point to yes on there being a Live Alive remake, remaster, port, whatever it might be.
Yeah. The news of this does not really surprise me all too much because it's as innovative as the game was, it was kind of a niche series. So to hear so much news and buzz around it around this time, like obviously like something's up here, so something's going on.
Absolutely. To add credence to that, if that's the right word, there were trademarks that Square Enix filed in Australia, and then after that in Europe, and then in the United States as well. This was, I can't remember if this was last year or if it was just several months ago, because, you know, time and the world.
Time is weird.
I mean, something is happening, you know what I mean? So I'm just so excited about this. Turn-based RPGs, oh my goodness. You know, the Trials of Mana, Seiken Densetsu 3, coming back was wild for me. So like, I love that Square Enix is putting, you know, effort, and it's the right amount of like budget and effort into these games, where it's not a big old AAA Final Fantasy VII remake style kerfuffle. It ends up being, you know, more mid-tier, a little bit of jank, a lot of charm. That's a video game. That's a video game. What?
I think more video games need more charm nowadays.
Yes.
Less AAA, more charm.
Yeah. Triple C.
Triple C Gaming.
Hello?
Hello?
My thing cut out, so I have to re-say that. Charm. But I'll mix it around and move it around with your bullshit. Not your bullshit, but I mean what you said. What you said was funny.
Please leave that in. Please leave that part in. I'm gonna mix it around with your bullshit.
Okay. And then there was some Pokemon Sword and Shield announcements earlier this week. It happened so much earlier in this week that I don't even remember what it was. Galen, do you remember?
Pokemon exist. That's the announcement.
Oh no, it was the DLC.
Yeah, they did a more thorough breakdown and showed some stuff with their new expansion 2 of Crown Tundra, which is going to be coming out later this month. I believe it comes out on October 22nd.
Cool.
We kind of had a basic idea of what was going on here. There was going to be exploring snowfields and ice caverns. They did show some new-ish Pokemon. I think there's a new Galarian version of Slowking, which is now Poison and Psychic and looks weird because it's got a weird, like, psychic turban thing. They did showcase a couple of big points. One is that there is going to be a new championship tournament within the game, within the story of it. And a lot of this is going to be double battles that you are having with the other NPC characters in the series. And I find this interesting because Pokemon seems to really want to focus on their characters more than their Pokemon as of late.
It's weird too because it's not like the characters are particularly great. Like there's some cool designs, but outside of that,
exactly. Like, they're really wanting to capitalize on that whole trainer aspect. And look how unique these people are. You have so many games, and there's at least 8 gym leaders for each one. I can't keep track of this stuff by now. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to push that just because of, like, the mobile game that they have that's focused on trainers.
It's possible.
And then they're going to introduce, you know, the Sword and Shield guys into the mobile game if they haven't done that already. You know, it's all about synergy and making more money with Pokemon Company.
Exactly. But I'm excited about this just because I like the idea of them focusing more on double battles. I think that's a really cool concept, and I love to see more of that, especially in a, quote, competitive scene. So next up they were talking about is the Dynamax Adventures. Now, this is going to be you and 3 other people going through it's like a cave system or something, but every person in this cave is a Dynamax Pokemon. So it is just like a string of these battles that you're going along, and apparently there are different paths you can go ahead and take. So do you go down this path and fight a fairy type Pokemon, or this one, and fight a rock type Pokemon? And it'll be a Dynamaxed version of that.
That's nice. Changes up gameplay.
Exactly. And what was really interesting is that you can catch these Pokemon, but when you go into the cave, you need to rent Pokemon to begin with. So you're not going in with your actual team.
Oh, so is this totally separate then from the main?
I believe so.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because if you're renting Pokemon, then...
It's completely separate. And I like that the Pokemon Company is trying to make a focus on controlling the meta of going through this, because I think that is part of...
What?
Well, it gives me very Safari Zone vibes. Like, you go in and... you can't pre-game and have the best team and the best strategy right from the beginning. It keeps it exciting each time you kind of go through there.
Kind of like a mystery dungeon game.
I did not like that game. But the big focus on this entire event is that all of the legendary Pokemon from the previous games seem to be available in this DLC. Like,
that's fun.
They showed all the legendary birds, the poster children from all the previous generations. They all seem to be there, and they all seem to be whatever end boss is at the end of these dungeons that you're going through.
That's
so,
nice.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to see them all be brought back.
It's cool that they seem to be putting, some good amount of effort into this DLC, because if I recall correctly, the DLC can only be purchased as a pack, both the summer and the winter stuff, and it's $30 US, which is, quite the premium price for a DLC.
Mm-hmm. They did also say that they are coming out with a physical copy of the game that is both the game and all of the DLC that comes along with it too. So
yeah, and they didn't reveal a price, right? And
they did not.
They are not generous on their prices, so I'm just wondering. And is this a dual pack of both Sword and Shield and both of the DLC, or is it just like Sword with all the DLC and then separate Shield?
It's
with
that.
All the... Okay.
It's that one.
So then this is going to be a $90 game probably.
Most likely, yeah.
They're not going to do
maybe a little bit of a package discount, but
no
that's
way.
just speculation at this point.
That is total speculation, and you're wrong, because they did a Sword and Shield.
You're wrong.
Yeah. Yes. Wrong. And you're also wrong, because they did a Sword and Shield pack back when those games came out, because lots of people buy both versions, and that was still $120.
It's still $120, but also the game has been out for quite some time now.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, it doesn't even matter for the Pokemon Company. They sell this stuff at super high prices. If you're lucky, you'll get a $10 discount. Ever.
Hey, it's Pokemon. They can charge whatever they want.
Apparently.
Only other thing that was worth mentioning is that they are having a special Pikachu-related event for basically all of October. It's like September 29th to October 30th. You can get up to 8 different Pikachu, all with different hats to wear.
That's cute, but I'm also surprised that it wasn't like Halloween themed at all.
Very much so, but I'm also really surprised that they you can't catch them. You need to wait and find the passcodes. Like, they gave one passcode in the actual announcement, but they're all like, you have to pay attention to their social media or something. So I'm wondering if this is more of trying to get people more involved with that. It's very like, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing particularly wrong with it. It's just that it's so unappealing to me to like it just asks so much of me and they've been kind of doing that a lot, where it's like, okay, get the passcodes, go visit the GameStop and download it from the GameStop, and like all that kind of stuff.
Subscribe to the newsletter.
Yeah, it's just I don't care about Pokemon that much. Like, I just want to kind of play the game, and then I feel like if I'm going to try and play like, in a weird ass way, a casual game like Pokemon that is supposed to be for all ages and accessible kind of has a lot of little things in there that make me feel like, ugh, this is just like for hardcore people with the IV nonsense. Well, and, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I'm just kind of disenfranchised by this franchise.
That's kind of what I said earlier with Animal Crossing. It's this weird category of like hardcore casual, where it should just be a simple, easygoing experience. But if you really want to, enjoy everything that the game has to offer. You have to go in like and involve yourself and make this your thing for a while, and it's exhausting sometimes.
Well, with Animal Crossing though, I feel like they've done it way better than
True,
at least
yes.
Sword and Shield did, and they've also. Okay, so with Animal Crossing, you know you're getting a life sim. You know you're getting some
Yeah.
sort of thing like that. With Pokemon, it's not necessarily that. You're just kind of catching monsters and playing like a lighthearted JRPG.
It's very weird.
Pokemon is just neither yours nor my thing
Yeah.
anymore.
And it's sad. I would like to get back into it, but it's just they haven't done anything that's been appealing enough for me.
Yeah, including like Pokemon Unite and all of these other
Yeah.
like very franchisey things. And I'm just like, I don't care enough about this franchise, you know?
Yeah. Like, and they also had something on there about like, hey, Pokemon Go can now be synced up to Pokemon Home, so you can move your Go.
It's getting to
people
be
over the
too
game.
much,
It's just-
right?
There's the web of Pokemon is just way too like convoluted at
Yeah.
this point.
Especially Postermon
Postermon.
Pokemon Master Sex. Have you played Pokemon Master Sex?
I have stayed away from Pokemon Master Sex.
And lastly here, we got the big news of the week. The Super Smash Bros. DLC character has been announced.
What?
Did we talk about this last week, or did it just happen? Like, time, you know?
No, this is all this week.
Scuba Steve was announced for Smash Bros. Minecraft Steve.
Yep. Minecraft Steve, Alex the girl, as I've heard some people call her.
That's insulting.
And then and then a zombie and Enderman.
Now-
all as one character.
Galen, have you ever played Minecraft?
Yeah, no, I played it.
Okay.
Not recently, but I played it in the early, Halcyon heyday. So
I have never ever played Minecraft. It is just something that has been just a little bit after my time, after my time.
yeah.
And I was very happy for all of the Zoomers, and all of the younger kids. Very happy for them. I didn't
Yeah.
care, of course, about the character. Whatever, that's fine. There's 90 freaking characters in this game. I don't care.
Exactly. They don't all have to appeal to you.
Exactly. And I'm glad that I saw that exact response from all of my, 35-year-old and up buddies on the internet, being like, this isn't for me, but I'm happy for the younger people. It was a
Exactly.
nice positive message. Apparently some people are upset about it. I have not seen that in my immediate vicinity, which is great. That means that I don't have toxic people around me.
Yeah. I think that the Minecraft character has been hotly requested for quite some time now.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. He's a huge cultural impact, or I should say
Yeah.
the game is.
Yeah. I'm thinking about some of the other characters that people have requested, and like Doom Guy, and it's just like, those more far off requests seem a lot more obtainable now. Like, I would not be surprised if we saw a Doom Guy as a character in some way.
I don't even know anymore. I don't expect anything. The only thing I try to sort of draw any kind of logical comparison with is, okay, what's coming out that will work in terms of synergy?
Yeah.
Like
So.
maybe Yokai Watch, maybe a Zelda character or something like that.
I would still love to see a dedicated Bomberman character, although I don't think it's going to be happening with the Mii costume that they came out with, but we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah. So anyway, Sakurai showed off gameplay stuff.
Lonely Sakurai is lonely. Let's just say that. Like, I love the first 5 minutes where he was just talking about, hey, it's just me. Used to play with all the developers and the friends at lunchtime, but can't really do that anymore.
Sorry for my yawning. Just bored.
I'm gonna pick up my 2 controllers and just play against myself.
So they showed off Minecraft Man's moveset, and he's got crafting. He has to craft from the world around him, and he uses a little craft box, and he's got different styles of weapon for the different materials.
I love how every time they make these new characters, they keep making the characters more and more complex, but they find ways to break the system within their own rules to make it happen.
Yeah, I like it. It makes me honestly excited for the ideas for like other spin-off fighting games, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of creativity.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. Yeah, having you make a block by jumping in the air and pressing B, as opposed to pressing B when you're on the ground, which, you know, is crafting when you're at a craft block or craft box.
Yeah. Like the neutral B does like 3 or 4 different things depending on where you are. Are you in the air? Are you on the ground? You know?
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
From the looks of it, if I had to classify this character, he was probably going to be a heavy set character, kind of like Little Mac, where he doesn't have a whole lot of... He's more horizontal than he is vertical as far as movement within the screen.
But he's also like a tricky character because he does have recovery with his blocks, like not through jumps or anything like that, but
yeah, the blocks are definitely, we've never seen anything like that
he
before,
creates a block underneath him and then suddenly he can jump from that block. And so he's going to be a tricky character like Piranha Plant or something like that.
And he does also have like that aerial recovery glide move that you get in characters like Pit and, well, Dark Pit, but Meta Knight. That's who I'm thinking of.
But his recovery with the aerial move is way more about horizontal. It's not about vertical, or at least going upward vertical.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cool. Like, you know what? Just fun mechanics, complex mechanics, giving people what they want. Dogs and cats living together.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah.
I do like how they showcased what happens when Kirby eats them.
The Kirby is so cute. Actually, the Kirby is the best part.
Block Kirby is the best.
It's very, very cute. I love him. I want a little plush of him or something.
Yeah. Characters coming out a lot sooner than I was expecting. October 14th.
Oh, yeah. Super soon, right?
Yeah. It's coming out a lot sooner considering that they were doing a lot of talking about how, hey, I don't know a lot about Minecraft and I don't know how we're going to implement this character. Like, we're still trying to figure out how this is going to work.
Well, he didn't say he doesn't know a lot about it because Sakurai, plays all the games, and they showed off like his creations that he played in Minecraft just on his own from the reveal trailer. And of course, they filmed this this gameplay thing. They filmed this like a month ago at
like back
least,
in August or something.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what it is a month ago versus what it is today is slightly different, slightly tweaked.
Yeah.
Plus, they have to say that because not only are Smash fans rabbids,
they are raving rabbits.
I didn't mean, no, it. Let's go with that. They're not only are Smash fans rabbids. Oh my goodness. But anyway, I don't care about the character, but the mechanics seem really cool. I have not even bought the new DLC pack. I haven't played Smash in forever. Despite that, what's interesting about Smash is like I'm always still excited to see what the new character is and what their new moveset is, even if I might not even play it.
Exactly.
Smash is interesting like that.
I do have the newest fighter pack, so I'm sure I'll be playing this character and talking about him at some point. So
yeah.
With that being said, I do want to point out that this is kind of the most lackluster of a character announcement when it comes to the music specifically.
Oh, okay.
Because I think there was some sort of an issue with like either getting the rights of the music or the music, just because it is a more mellow kind of softer tune, it's a lot harder to translate that over into a fighting game.
It's also a newer title. Like, you go back to like Terry's announcement, and that's SNK. Like, those games have been out for decades, so there's so much music in there that fans want to hear from all of the different games that Terry has been in. Minecraft is in its infancy in terms of legacy. Well, not legacy, but you know what I'm trying to say here. So it kind of makes sense to me that music-wise they'd be like, they didn't even mention it, really. No,
that's true. They also told us a little bit more about some of the costumes for the Mii characters that are coming along.
Yeah.
Minecraft, we're getting both a creeper costume and a pig costume, as well as diamond armor that your character can now wear.
I'm sure that means something to a lot of Zoomers. I have no idea.
You can now play as Gil from Tower of Druga. I'm not familiar with this.
I couldn't believe when I saw that pop up. I was like, what? That's an old-ass arcade game from the mid-'80s, if I recall correctly. Yeah, it's, I think it's owned by Bamco now. And yeah, it's kind of like a Pac-Man. It's like kind of top down, but it's like dungeon crawling Pac-Man. You play as just like a little
That sounds awesome.
little knight guy, and you're going after getting keys. That's why he picked up a key at the end there in the thing.
All right, cool.
My favorite though is Bomberman.
I thought you were going to say the next one.
No, we'll talk about that in a second. My favorite is
Yeah.
Bomberman because it's not just like a me costume. It is a genuine character change. They already have a model for Bomberman in the game as the assist trophy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I of course would like Bomberman as a actual playable character, but they have him as an assist trophy.
but-
It's fine. This will satiate me to some degree. I like that it doesn't just look like a weird old me, because lots of the times they don't look good.
Maybe it'll be the next Smash Bros. Character in like, I don't know, 5 years.
God, I don't even know what the next Smash will be. It's not going to be an extended version of this.
It's not going to be everyone.
It needs to be a wipe the slate clean type of game,
Exactly.
I'd be fine
Exactly.
if Smash Bros. No longer existed.
Yeah.
That won't happen, but I'd be fine
I
with
know.
that. And I'd like them to do like a different type of fighting game that Nintendo makes, whether Sakurai is involved or not. I mean, Sakurai's got great ideas, so it'd be cool if he would be involved, but I don't know. Like, I brought it up on Get Vocal yesterday. I think it would be so cool to do like a Soul Calibur style fighting game
Oh, that would be fun.
with
Yeah.
just Zelda characters because of like the different equipment that you can get. Do you remember Soul Calibur 2 with all the different weapons and the story
Oh,
mode
of
there?
course I do.
So good,
Yeah.
right? Like do something like that where they work with characters or they work with other developers to do that, like they did with Pokken to make like a Tekken kind of game.
Just don't go and make it PlayStation All Stars. So
Yeah. Well, PlayStation All-Stars, my goodness. There were
that game?
so few consonants in what I just said. It was just vowels. Getting a little tired.
I hear you, man. Well, let's bring up the last character then.
The
that they
biggest
showed.
disappointment of my life.
No More Heroes Travis is a me costume and nothing else.
I want him to be a fighter so bad.
I thought that would have been a shoo-in, especially with the new game coming out
Me
next year. So, yeah. Oh well. Beyond that, they also showcased some amiibos. I'm really happy they're coming out with a Banjo-Kazooie amiibo.
Well, they have to. They're going to come out with an amiibo for every DLC character.
Yeah. So we're getting some for Banjo-Kazooie, for Billith, for Terry. I love how they kind of like skipped Terry and they were like,
Teddy Bogado. He also presented it like Sakurai presented it like, will you marry me? Teddy Bogado.
Man. It's funny that they brought this up because I just got the Joker and the hero from Dragon Quest amiibos just came out.
Oh,
and
nice. Batman Joker amiibo?
yeah. I kind of forgot that I pre-ordered them, so when they showed up at my door, I was just like, oh, okay, I'll add these to my depressingly ongoing collection.
Sounds like you didn't even need to buy him in the first place, Mr. Capitalism.
Yeah, I just like my little statue guys. Like, they make me happy. Little chunks of capitalism are okay.
Little chunks of capitalism thrown into a stew.
Yeah. Capitalism stew, It's really nice on those, cold autumn evenings. I don't know where I'm going with this anymore.
Neither do I. Shut up.
I think I'm getting tired too.
On to the DLC.
Mm-hmm.
Galen,
Yes, Oni.
you go first because actually my DLC rolls into our email, so I think I'll put it in there.
Okay. Yeah, my DLC is really quick and easy this week. I found an
Finally.
old commercial. I found an old commercial for Super Mario Brother. Actually, not even Super. Just Mario Brothers for the Atari, which I had to take another look at. But this is classic, working in the pipes, and it's a very weird commercial. So.
Working in the pipes?
Working in the pipes. Yes, you heard me right. It's a quick 30-second commercial. It's a good time capsule watch. So just go check it out and remember a simpler time when, pixels weren't so flashy.
I forgot what the name of the channel is, but there is definitely a channel that archives all of the old commercials for video games, and it's always so fun to see.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
Then my additional DLC goes in with our email, so just a moment. Just a momento.
Uno momento. Kudasai.
Uno momento kudasai. So here we are in the listener segment of the show.
Yes.
Galen, the best way to support our show is through a what?
Through a 5-star Apple iTunes review.
Apple Podcasts, almost got there, but we'll give you a pass.
Sure. Like, you should give us a pass by giving us a 5-star rating and leaving us a comment, which we will read out on the show.
Nice. Good job, Galen.
Yeah.
I want more of that. More synergy, more fastness, more sexuality. I don't know. Just trying out words. Just trying out words. Just like this lovely person trying out words on Apple Podcasts, Trevor.
This podcast is crumbling and falling around us.
It's fine. Ignore it.
Just like a Minecraft block that you stand on.
Oh god, I have to sneeze so bad. Trevor writes in, my favorite Nintendo podcast. That's quite the accomplishment.
Excellent.
I meant to say compliment, but I said the wrong word. Trevor writes, this is my favorite Nintendo podcast. I always look forward to it on my Sundays, and they never fail to make my week a little bit better. Thank you, Trevor. That's honestly the goal of this podcast, is to make people feel a little better.
That is really flattering. Thank you so much.
Yeah. He continues to write, they give you everything a hardcore Nintendo fan could ask for: news, analysis, reviews, predictions, bad jokes, and more every week. I would give them 10 stars if I could.
I'm glad that we can give you all the bad jokes that you want.
Thank you, Trevor. That is such a glowing review that it honestly sounds like a fake review. But I know that I wouldn't do that, and I know that Galen hasn't even left a review yet. So,
Oh, it's true.
yeah. You seriously, all you need to do is click the star. You just need to click 5 stars, and that's all you gotta do.
We give everything that a hardcore Nintendo fan could ask for. They are not asking for those reviews yet. We are asking for those reviews. They are
shut
not.
up. What? Just leave us a review so it'll make the... Trevor, thank you very much. You have tried even more than Galen has. So thank you, Trevor. We really appreciate you leaving us a review.
Thank you very much, Trevor.
And now we also have an email address. Galen, if you were going to send an email and you only had a stick, how would you send us an email?
I would break the stick up, I would set it on fire, and I would send it as smoke messages. And those messages would spell out NintendoEverythingPod@gmail.com.
NintendoEverythingPod@gmail.fire. And your email might sound a little something like this.
We have a very spooktacular email from Eirik. Eirik, hey man, how's it going?
Hello.
Eirik writes in, I'm probably going to mispronounce this part. Is it G? G?
I feel like that was a typo. It just says GI.
Oh. Eirik writes in, hi, long time no hear/read. I still listen, but my life has been crazy with kids, work, etc. I hear you, man. Totally get you there. With Mario 64 and Sunshine coming out, I have been reading complaints about it being emulated, but I don't really get why that is a problem. If anything, it should be positive because now they have the framework to get loads of 64 and GameCube games on the Switch. Could you talk about that a little bit? Love from your northern listener, Eirik. P.S. Get Cliff and Mary on more often. They are great. Well, first off, thank you very much, Eirik. That is a very excellent recommendation, and I would love to have my wife on, and Cliff too, because I feel like he tempers Oni a little bit.
Yeah, we'll have them both on. But anyway, Irek sends us a second email as well right after that. What does he say? Galen, go!
He does follow up and say, oh my god, I just got to the part where you talked about it, so never mind. This is why I don't send emails that much. You get there before me. Love that you are repeating the game when you end a segment now, by the way.
I was thinking about him recently because I was like, man, we have not heard from Irek in a long, long time. I am sure I must have said something stupid that offended him and he doesn't listen to our show anymore. That is
how embarrassing.
That is exactly how I think. So I'm so glad to hear from him. It smiled across my face when I saw Irek's email. But anyway, Irek, I got a friggin' video for you. This is my additional DLC this week called The Best Way to Play Super Mario 64 by My Life in Gaming. My Life in Gaming do great, super in-depth, but accessible videos on either a series or one specific game, usually something that's got a legacy to it, and they go across the whole history, all of the ports that it might have had. So Mario 64, they go through all of the different ports of the game throughout virtual console re-releases and yada yada yada. And it's I don't know, I want to say maybe it's the last 15 minutes of the video where they go over the Switch version of Super Mario 64. And apparently, according to them, it is the best version of Super Mario 64 since the original release.
Really?
Yeah, in terms of like how it looks, input delay.
Oh, Zogo's
everything.
Super technical with a lot of those things then.
They go pretty technical, but it's not preventative. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it doesn't just like glaze over you, like it doesn't just run past your face. Run past your face? What? Anyway, yeah, it is running emulated, but I think that it's just like basically because that's where the framework is, as you know, kind of Irek mentioned. They clearly went in and touched up the textures in lots of different places where, you know, My Life in Gaming does point it out. And I think that the word emulator is just such a buzzword for people to hear and then be like, oh, it's running on an emulator, so therefore there's no effort in it, or therefore it's just, I don't know, lazy or whatever. I don't know. People just love to, you know, hear words and stuff like that.
I think you're onto something with that one, because I had talked to my wife about this, and I was trying to explain like the concept of why this was kind of an issue for some people. And when I brought up the emulator, her actual first response was, well, if it's an emulator, I can just download it, play it on my computer. And I kind of like had to take a step back and was like, well, theoretically, yes, you can, but that also kind of hurts the industry, and you're downloading, it's like downloading a movie and watching it as opposed to like buying it or anything. I mean, to each their own when it comes to that kind of thing. Not that I, you know, legally am saying that I don't support that, but it's
I mean, yeah, that's a separate conversation, but yes, definitely agree with you. But in terms of
I think that conversation is what's kind of like mixing into people's general outcry and opinions of just like, oh, this is emulated? Well, why am I paying for something that I can get for free? Well, there's a lot more to it than that, but let's slow down a little bit.
Yeah, because also like something I can get for free, like something you can illegally get for free. You know what I mean? It's like saying, oh, I have to, I don't know. That's another conversation. But in terms of like what the game is, the Switch version of Super Mario 64, it's emulated because it's running the classic game. Like, this isn't a remake, this isn't a remaster or anything like that, but they have all of the original files, and they've gone into some of those original files to clean up the art. Like, this is the clearest we've ever seen, like, the Princess Peach portrait. They cleaned up the text, and just a bunch of other little things as well. That's kind of why it runs on an emulator. It's just, I don't know, it's that word, that buzzword that people throw in there.
Yeah. like people who don't understand Bitcoin mining and decided to use it for Cooking Mama. So
yeah, Cooking Mama, aka Martha Stewart, is trying to ruin us through COVID-19 mining. What? Anyway, people love on the internet to just assert that something that they don't know that they're talking about, and just, you know, make gigantic conclusions, jump to the conclusions. Yeah. A good example is I was talking to somebody, I can't remember where it was. It was a cool conversation. The other person was super cool, so I'm not trying to call them out, really. I was talking to somebody and they were like, oh, Super Mario 64 on Switch is really bad. It feels bad, and it's just horrible because you want it. It's like you're asking for the bare minimum for a game to run at the frame rate that the original game did. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, Super Mario 64 on Switch runs at 30 frames, and back on Nintendo 64, if it ran at 30 frames, there were dips in it, just because like that's kind of how the hardware was on 64. Like 20 something frames a second was the standard on 64 back then. Like, it's just how it was. Go back to Legend of Zelda, and that game was consistently 20 frames a second. Just whatever, it is what it was. But that person, for whatever reason, thought that Mario 64 was running at 60 frames a second on Nintendo 64, and you know, they were wrong. They had misinformation in their brain, but then they were regurgitating that misinformation and just like kind of shitting on Mario 64 on Switch, just kind of because that's what everybody else was doing. So they were like, oh yeah, bad product. According to My Life in Gaming, apparently this is the best Mario 64 since the original.
Exactly. Kind of going along with what you're saying here, it often leaves me flabbergasted on how people will pick different buzzwords and think that is the end-all be-all thing to focus on when it comes to technology.
Absolutely.
Without a full comprehension of what is going on there. A little bit of a personal story. I remember when I came out to visit you one year, and I was working at Best Buy. And when I came out to visit, we went and got you a TV with my employee discount. And we looked at a couple of different...
memory of this.
We looked at a couple of different TVs. We picked one out for you, and we got it set up. And we liked it because they said this was a great TV to play video games on. It can run all the games at 60 FPS or something.
Zero memory of that.
We got back to your place. We set up the TV, and we couldn't... There was a little counter that said what the frames were in the top corner of the TV. When we plugged in the PS4, it would never... Or the PS3, sorry. It wouldn't go anywhere past 30. It was either FPS or hertz, I can't remember. But we didn't learn till later that the console itself couldn't actually trigger the requirements for what it was. So the fact that was a selling point and something that we were focusing on had no merit to what we were actually doing.
Are you sure this was me?
100%, yes, because I remember specifically because you were talking about possibly taking it back to the Best Buy because you thought that the TV was broken. So I remember this. I remember this.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah, but I always took that as a learning experience moving forward of always know the context of whatever technology that they are coming out with. Like I remember when the Xbox One X or something was first being announced and talked about, and they were like, this has 6 teraflops of processing power, and it's like everybody had to go like, what the hell is a teraflop? That sounds really impressive. And it's like, no, it's literally just how much power can get pumped into the unit. Sorry, I might have gone on a bit of a tangent there.
Yeah, I don't think that was really related to much. But I am very surprised that you took it as a learning experience. You never take anything as a learning experience.
I learned more than what I actually like bring to the world.
How embarrassing.
I learned my lessons. I just don't act on them.
I don't think you learned your lessons, man. Not from what I've seen.
It's scientific method. If I learn something, I have to repeat the circumstances to make sure that the lesson is valid.
No. Stop it giving yourself excuses. That's embarrassing. Ira, thank you very much for writing into us. If I remember what I was going to say, I'll say it some other time. Thank you. We want to hear your emails anyway. We missed you, man. I think you got married. I think you did. So I hope that you and your partner are doing great. I think I remember you last time you wrote into us, you were getting married or something. Yeah. Hope you're having a good life. And we hope that all of our other listeners are having a good life. Write into us and tell us about your life, considering this is the October Spooktacular.
Yeah.
How about you guys write into us if you've got like spooky ghost stories, if you've ever been haunted before, if you have these like great gaming experiences of you playing video games during the Halloween, like scary video games, like anything that's like mildly related to, even if it's not related to gaming, if it's related to Halloween, I want to hear it. If you got something like spooky story that you want us to read, I would love to just like have like an email heavy episode or two. So please do send in those emails.
Yeah.
NintendoEverythingPod@gmail.com.
Please send those spooky emails to NintendoEverythingPod@gmail.com. I know one of my favorite spooky video game related stories involving you, but I will share that a different time.
Ooh, share it on a podcast next time.
Yeah, that was the plan.
I'm tired.
So what's coming up, what's coming out on NintendoEverything.com? 24/7 news, reviews, translations, all the big ones, all the hits.
Mm-hmm.
That's NintendoEverything.com. Stay connected to us at NinEverything and also our YouTube, youtube.com/NinEverything. Then you can find Galen spooking it up over on Twitter.
Yep. You can do that at Mobius087. I've actually been a little bit more active on Twitter lately. I posted some screenshots of my amiibo collection, which I guess people like seeing it. They like my IKEA cabinets.
Yeah. Everybody liked them.
Yeah.
See, and I responded to that because I have no display cases for my stuff because I
just
hide that
responded back
embarrassing
with the
shit
words, "How
immediately.
embarrassing."
Yeah. Put that stuff away. I need to hide my sin, my embarrassment.
Embrace your embarrassment.
I'm embracing my sin on my Twitter at Oni_Dino, where you can find links to signing up for Get Vocal. There's a link on there specifically. If you sign up using that link, you will get 100 Vcoin and I will get 100 Vcoin. Vcoin is basically Twitch bits. It's basically $1. If you sign up using this link, it supports me by giving me $1 and you also get $1. So that's super cool.
You can use those to buy a water.
Or a bad cup of coffee. Whatever you like.
You ruined it. Water for $1.
Oh, ice cold water. Water $1. Water.
I set you up for that one, man.
Dude, I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
It was your story.
It was my story, but I don't know shit about shit. All right. Anyway, I'm doing the Get Vocal podcast, interactive podcast. It's nice and intimate. Come on over there. We got lots of listeners of this podcast, so it'd be cool if like a couple more of them come over from time to time just to like have a chat with me. I like to get to know our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And what else do I do? Oh, Silicon Era. I also write on Silicon Era. I'm translating over there, writing articles over there. Come on and support me by reading my articles, clicking the links, click and share, all that good stuff.
Not the singer Cher.
Hey. Yes to the singer share because we all believe in life after love.
I don't know any Cher songs. I'm not the one to riff off this. So
Well, maybe that's your problem, Galen. Maybe that's where you went wrong in life, okay?
Sure. If you're making a reference, I'm not getting it.
Jesus Christ.
Do you see the folly of this plan?
You are the folly.
I know, I am the folly in this plan, but do you realize it?
Well, we have something big planned for next week, but don't get your hopes up high because Galen is a folly and I can't pronounce words good. They get caught in my mouth, I don't say them no good.
Make sure you hype up your disappointment expectations next episode.
Look forward to something on our 100th episode next week. We'll see you then. Until then, for everything Nintendo.
Stay tuned to Nintendo Everything.
Bye-bye.
Adios, everyone.